Alright, this will be my second level and my final video on this game until I let's play it officially, whenever that may be. Um, I may pause the video because there's some cutscenes and I don't feel like recording that stuff right there. But we'll see. We'll see.
You were specifically told to hold, but you didn't. Why?
Charlie Dean was down. I wasn't gonna let this guy get away. The hallway and the first floor were clear. I heard movement above. I made my way up. And that's when I saw him.
The fourth guy?
Yeah, the fourth guy.
The after-action report you filed states he got the drop on you. But he doesn't fire. Why?
He was American. Not Russian, not German, not Chechen. American.
Interesting. And how do you know that?
He spoke to me.
And what did this American say to you?
I can't remember. RPG hit the building. Everything's blank after that.
And your next assignment?
Doubleheader. Destroy a 7th wave weapons cache and stronghold at Nazran.
You were ordered to RV with a Lieutenant McCarver en route to the objective?
Yes. Would have been a breeze if the maps and the intel on the border crossing wasn't out of date. Only thing right about it was the farm.
I think this game takes itself way too seriously sometimes. But it's okay. Okay, let's talk. I don't like the stealth in this game. I like it and I don't like it. It's 50-50. You don't need to be. You don't need to play a game that's solely stealth or only stealth or a stealth action game just to enjoy good stealth moments. And that's the thing with this game. Like I guess all games are like this, but or most first-person shooters that have some stealthy elements or some optional stealthy elements in it, where you have the option of being stealthy. Some enemies will notice you for seemingly no reason, and some will notice you for a good reason, like because they're staring right at you or staring in your general direction. But I still have to maybe kind of count that against this game because I've played regular shooters, that aren't stealth action games, and I'd say it's about 50-50. Some of the stealth portions, or the portions where you have like the option or a chance to be stealthy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes enemies will notice you or whatever. But I think at least half of the time, or whatever I'm trying to say, a lot of regular first-person shooters can pull off like a few stealthy moments, like we. But yeah, a lot of games, in my opinion, first-person shooters can pull that off. You can have a few decent stealthy moments, or one or two, in a game that's mainly just first-person shooting. So, but I guess one point I do have to give it is that when you are stealthy, and when you get a stealth kill, and nobody's around, that works. Some games, I've played some games like this before, where you could get a stealth kill or shoot somebody, and for some reason the enemy notices you, and that happens in this game too. But not for, from the 2.5 or from the 1.5 to 2 levels that I've played, it doesn't happen too much, or it's about 50-50. But anyway, let's play.
This is Bravo 3 radio check, over. 2-1, do you copy, over?
And I'm not going to play the entire game or this entire level, just about maybe half or so. I'm not even going to really try to beat the game. I'm not going to try to die or nothing like that, but I'm just going to play it for a little bit.
2-1, do you read me? Over. If you copy, I am proceeding to RV. Out. Bravo 2-1, this is 3. Do you copy? Over.
I messed that up. I was trying to just rush. It's okay.
Bravo 3, targets neutralized.
But yeah, the fact that you can aim down this, like the fact that you can zoom in with any weapon, that's I mean, come on. That right there makes this game not better than or whatever than most of the shooters on the PS2 or from this generation, in my opinion. Okay, where's this guy at? Oh, he's already dead. I do like this stuff. This stuff was actually I like this stuff. I like a lot of this stuff, especially the beginning. Just wish the enemies didn't have super hearing or super senses some of the time, but it's okay. I get a hitch right here.
Помогите! Передай другим!
Alright, but we gotta flank me. Somewhere. I messed that up as well. I could have been a little more stealthy, but just trying to get this over with. I mean, I personally think, you know, I've seen all I need to see to know, or to have an idea of what this entire game's going to be like. Because the shooting's going to stay the same, I believe. They'll probably just start making these action and stuff like that. Wow. What's that? Down. Okay. Alright. Excuse me. I could have played this level a lot better, but not really in a rush. Just some kind of I don't know. I guess anxious or something. I didn't even know they made silencers for. I guess it's a silencer for everything, except grenades and rocket launchers. appreciate the headshots. I really appreciate the headshots. The headshots are very nice. Very satisfying to get a headshot. And this part of the game, or this part of the level, is kind of, I guess, somewhat easy. The shotgun is like, it's like this shotgun is almost like a cheat
2-1, this is 3.
code
Do you copy?
for this game.
This is 3. Nothing heard. Proceeding to top pad. Over.
Yeah, I think they're definitely trying to show off their weapons with that with that blurry screen when you reload, because you can still move. So I guess they don't want you to focus too much on reloading, but to focus on their guns and how authentic their guns look and stuff like that. So because that's what I would think. Like if you're in a real firefight or whatever, not real firefight, but like if you're in that kind of situation and you want to change your weapon or you want to reload, you definitely need to focus. Although I guess people that are really trained at that kind of stuff, like they can probably reload the weapon without even looking at it sometimes. But anyway, let's go. I kind of wish this game had a lean feature. That shotgun is just beautiful. Oh, it's a beautiful shotgun. Such a beautiful weapon. I'm gonna be a little reckless here. Just try to that's what I get for being reckless, I guess.
Двигайся вперед!
Need some health. It's okay. It's okay.
Помогите! Сопровождаем цель! Держим позицию! Держим связь! Вижу! Подвигаемся! Очистить квартал! На связи! Я сниму его! Огонь! Вас понял!
Yeah, that's it. I could have tried again, but that's it for this video. But I didn't really see anything that makes this game better than any other shooter from this generation. And my thing is, in my opinion, there's a difference between games like this that use realistic weaponry and uh, realistic locations. There's a big difference between a game like this and a game like Area 51 or Project Snowblind or or Rogue Trooper or like a sci-fi game, or even sometimes even there's even a big difference or somewhat of a difference between this game and or games like this and games that take place like Call of Duty, like games that take place during World Wars and stuff like that. And maybe I'm just a fanatic. Maybe I just have no life or something. But when you say a game, especially when you say one game is like one of the best shooters or top 5 shooters of a generation, what are you talking about? Are you talking about? Are you including the sci-fi shooters as well, or are you including the tactical shooters? Are you including what are you including here? Because I don't look at all shooters the same. Like there's a big difference. Like you wouldn't play Ratchet and Clank or Gungrave or Star Wars Battlefront and have the same expectations of that game as you would if you play a game like Ghost Recon or Rainbow Six or Hitman or Splinter Cell or Grand Theft Auto. You have different expectations, and not only that, but the games are a little different. I mean, they should be the same. Like if you're playing a sci-fi game and you're using laser beams or whatever, enemies should die with one shot to the head with a freaking laser. Why not? And you can't just, in my opinion, you can't just say that. If you're gonna say that, play at least. Well, you don't have to do anything, but if you're gonna do that, you should have at least, if not own, at least half of a generation's shooters, or maybe even play half or most of a generation's shooters. And maybe gaming pastime, maybe he has played every single shooter, or half of the 6 generations library, or whatever. Or he probably doesn't even have any interest in doing that. And I think most people don't even have an interest in even doing nothing like that. That's kind of crazy, and that's fine. But as long as you think like that, as long as you think, well, I know what I've played and I'm content with what I've played, and I decided that this is the best game or one of the best out of the whole generation. Like when you've played one game and you realize that there are more games that you haven't played, but you don't care about that fact. You only care about saying, well, this game I played, I feel is the best. That's ignorance. In my opinion, that's what's called a wrong opinion. I know people say no, or some people say or believe no such thing as a wrong opinion or a whatever, but it is. It is. It just is. I can't have an opinion that, like, like, of something like that's just, that's like me saying, okay, well, in my opinion, we have 30 planets in our in our solar system. Well, that's a dumb opinion. That's an invalid opinion because we don't. It's, we have whatever the amount is. I think it's like 9 or 10 or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a science guy, but I just think, like, you can't you can't do that. You can't do that. I mean, well, you can, but it's not. It's not right. I don't like that right there, because I love shooters, and that's, for the most part, all I let's play. I played other stuff, but I think I have more shooters than anything. Especially when you make such a statement like that about Black. I mean, Black did nothing. What has it done? Okay, it looks good. That's about it. I mean, what else has it really done? Has really done? Okay, okay, it does destructible cover. Well, Red Faction did destructible cover or destructible environments. Maybe not in the same way Black did, but Red Faction already did it, 1 and 2. So you don't have that. What else? What else do you have? Realistic weapons. Well, a lot of games have realistic weapons. They may not, or realistic looking weapons. They may not operate, or like certain reload animations, or how shells, how they eject from the gun when they're being shot. That stuff may not be realistic, but most games have pretty realistic looking weapons. Whether they act exactly like their real life counterpart, that's a whole other thing. Like that almost doesn't matter. How's the game play? Is it fun? If it's trying to be realistic, or if it has a realistic setting or tone, do the enemies go down and within a reasonable amount of time, or with a reasonable amount of bullets? That's the stuff that matters. This game has done nothing for the genre except look good, and that's not enough. You need more than looks. You can't just look good. You gotta. This is a game, not a movie. I don't care how good you look, as long as I can see what I'm doing, and as long as the graphics are okay. Next, move on. Let's move on. The action. What about the action? Let's get to the action. That's what that's what matters. And you can't say this game is the best game of a generation and just bypass, like, Rainbow Six and Ghost Recon and SOCOM, and then you can't say that and just ignore the other genres of shooters, like the sci-fi shooters and stuff like that, because it's got to be separate. Because in my opinion, I don't think there really is a best shooter for any generation. I don't think there's, because there's so many shooters for any one generation. Yeah, and a lot of them do different things. Like, some of the worst shooters in the world have really neat ideas, and some of the best shooters in the world, they look good, they play well, but not really a lot of neat ideas. Only the ideas that they've been relying on since the start of the series, or whatever. And you can't just overlook games like America's Army for the original Xbox, a great game. You can't overlook Combat Road to Berlin, where like you only need like 2 shots to take down an enemy. You can't overlook Rainbow Six, at least one of them. Like you gotta add one of them up there. Uh, Ghost Recon. Yeah, it isn't as good as the PC version or whatever version, but you can't overlook all that stuff just for a game that looks good and the explosions sound nice and or look nice. And come on, excuse me. Um, what else is there? I would compare. I would put this game up against any. Well, not any. If I would have like put this game up against another game, I'd say Shadow Ops for the original Xbox, because Shadow Ops, much like this game, has no blood. This game has no blood in it. It's a mature rated game, but it's no blood. I don't think. I didn't see any blood. Shadow Ops is the same way. In my opinion, it's a way better game. The shooting is much more tighter. The controls are much more tighter. Looking around, it's pretty smooth. The weapons, they're realistic weapons. They look pretty realistic. I don't know if they act exactly the way they act in real life, but it's the same thing. And enemies usually go down with a few shots. Even if you have a handgun, you could take down a guy with 3 shots, depending on where you shoot him at. 1 shot if you shoot him in the head. The game has great atmosphere, much like this game. This game has pretty good atmosphere as well. Yeah, but that's the main thing, like Shadow Ops, because Shadow Ops has realistic looking weapons. They use real life weaponry, whatever, and it's no blood. That's something that kind of stood out to me right there. Another game I compare it to would be 13. With 13, just never mind the graphics for a second, but 13 is another game that looks really good. It plays really well. Enemies usually go down with a reasonable amount of shots, with a reasonable amount of bullets. So I think that those are the games I would pit this game up against, and this game would lose every time. But what else do I want to say? What else do I want to say? Like I said, I don't know how to review games. I have trouble with getting all my ideas in one basket and arranging them in any sort of sensible and orderly way. But I could tell you, like, this is not. Maybe if I ranked it, it'd probably be 29 or something out of 30, because I can think of other games that deserve the first place or the second or third place, or anything under that right there. But the game is good. The game is pretty good. I don't want to say that it exceeded any of my expectations. It met my expectations. I wasn't expecting the game to be terrible. It isn't. I wasn't expecting it to be the best thing I ever played. It isn't. So I'm kind of in the middle of the road with this game. And yeah, well, when I go to play it officially, like when I go to Let's Play it, then I'll see what the game truly has to offer. But I guess that's about it. I guess those are my final thoughts. I'll add these videos to the other 2 videos that I made, or the other 3 or 4 videos I made about this game, and hopefully I made some sense. I probably didn't, because I ramble so much and I just run my mouth so much, and I talk so much, and my ideas are never really too organized. So it probably sounds like I'm just talking about whatever, but I just think, like, you can't, even if this game was the best shooter for this generation, it still wouldn't be, because when you play certain games, there's different expectations, and there's plenty of sci-fi games, plenty of other games here for this generation where you're not expecting realism or for things to look realistic or act realistically. You just not. There are plenty of games with really good ideas, and you can't take one game from every and put it above everything else. What you have to do, you have to sort of categorize it. Take all the games that are trying to be realistic or whatever, or that use realistic weaponry, and rank those. Then take all the sci-fi games and rank those. Then take all the stealth games and rank those. And then take all the strategy shooters, like Operation Flashpoint, the Ghost Recon games, and everything else. And then take all the stealth action games, and then decide what are the top 5 or top 10s out of all of those. That's what I would do. Just take the best from each genre and just rank it like that, rather than saying this one game that looks realistic and has realistic weaponry is better than every other game from this generation. Because that's not realistic. That makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. But I guess that's all I gotta say. I'll be I guess I'll start Let's Playing for the Xbox 360 sometime tonight or tomorrow when I get home from work. But take care, you guys. This is Inquisitor Eyes on Overlip. This is Inquisitor Eyes on Overlip. So take care. I'll see you guys for my next Let's Play.